Which jobs are you not going to impact?
I don't think I can conclusively comment on that. I think if we look at how the technology has evolved, it started off as purely text. Now there's like lots of other areas that it's moving into. I don't think I don't conclusively know like which areas where it's going to be limited to.
Colin, thank you for doing this. Explain to me your role at OpenAI.
Absolutely, yeah, and thank you so much for having me here. My role, I'm the global head of forward deployment. What the models are capable of, and to build like new products that I guess surface like new ways of working with our models with enterprises.
You're responsible for ChatGPT that so many of us will know has sort of already transformed our working environments. How has it done that so far?
That's a great question. I think ChatGPT is kind of like your everyday productivity assistant. Like I think it's like the way that we've seen it transform people's lives like the most so far is like kind of every one of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, making every one of them just a bit faster, and over time like learning more and more about you and personalizing that experience to you. So I think that's probably where we see it most.
Were you anticipating the scale by which it's changed the working world already when you first released it?
We absolutely did not, actually. I joined a couple weeks before ChatGPT came out, and I can say it was like a massive surprise to all of us, just like the scale of the uptake. And I think probably what's most surprising is actually how it continues to increase. I mean, at the start of this year, we had about 200 million weekly users. We now have 800 million, so 4x increase just in this year. So I think like the most interesting thing is how it just continues to happen like year on year.
It took a lot of people by surprise. Imagine this tech summit was happening in a year's time from now. How do you think your language model is going to change the world of work? What's the next thing that's going to happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think 2025 has been really about agents and people starting to trust these models to like go off and do work for like maybe 10 minutes or an hour on their behalf, and then coming back and like reviewing the results. And that means the models are capable of doing more complex things. So I think like if we fast forward a year, we're going to see the models starting to do maybe things that might have taken you a week before, and you're going to start to use them more as like an assistant and less of a program that you talk to interactively.
Can you give an example of what that week-long project would be that ChatGPT can do on your behalf?
Totally. So if I give an example from say like programming, like right now I would maybe use ChatGPT I would paste some code in and say like fix this bug or fix this function. In a year I might say I want a website for my e-commerce company and we sell clothing. Go and host that website for me, and it would go and do all of that work, which previously might have taken like a team of developers a week.
So if I'm one of those team of developers listening right now, there is clearly a lot of nervousness about how this is going to change the economy and put people out of their jobs.
Yeah, totally. And I guess to answer that, I would maybe point to even like the existence of my team. Like I think that we see people. I guess we see some jobs be squeezed in this place, but we also see a ton of opportunity. Like the role of forward deployed engineer actually like didn't exist a year ago and is now a huge focus. And the reason why is like these models have created the need for that role, the need to go out and like build these experiences for people to take advantage of this technology. So I think there are challenges, but there are also a ton of opportunities.
It's not creating as many opportunities as the jobs it's taking away, though.
I would say I don't have any like numbers to confirm that. I think from what we see on the ground with enterprises, we're actually seeing it's making employees much more productive, but it's also creating a ton of jobs. I mean, like if I point again to like forward deployed engineering, my team's going to grow probably 4x over the next year. So there are a lot of opportunities coming out of this.
If I'm a lawyer, if I'm a management consultant, if I work in marketing, that isn't going to be music to my ears.
Yeah. I'd say that depends, because I guess I personally work with legal firms. I work with management consultancies, and actually what we've seen is it almost just changes the profile of the work that people are doing. I think the experienced people are still extremely valuable. The entry level people are still extremely valuable. It's just I think the level people ramp up faster, and the experienced people can do more work with their time. So I think there is a positive story here in terms of like the amount of productivity that everybody can produce as well.
I asked you what would these language models be facilitating in a year's time, let's say 10 years from now.
I don't think anybody can categorically say. I mean, I think even 1 year is probably a stretch. But I'd see like we have almost a scale that we use to describe like what these models are capable of. And I think in 10 years you might see like a model that can do the work that might have taken like an organization of people to do it today. And so you're going to see like I think smaller groups of people able to do a lot more with these models.
again, it comes down to that fear factor that people have to say, if you're not a digital native, let's say, if you haven't grown up with a smartphone using ChatGPT, maybe at school, you're probably thinking, actually, this technology is evil, it's going to take my job. What would you say to that individual?
So what I would say is one of our biggest focuses at OpenAI is accessibility. So like making the models accessible to everyone. I think like you can look at the free version of ChatGPT as an example of that. You can also look at like the release of AgentKit a couple weeks ago. We're trying to bring down the barrier for entry for people who want to use this technology in their day-to-day. So I think people who are scared of it, I would point to the fact that most of our efforts right now are about like lowering the barrier for entry and making AI something that everybody can benefit from, and that's something that we're really committed to.
Let's say the company of Klarna. Klarna have just announced they're cutting their workforce, which for them, in terms of their bottom line, is brilliant, from 7,000 employees to half that number. That's because of the technological advances that companies like you have facilitated. So if I'm one of those 3,500 people that are now out of a job, what job should I be looking for next? That means AI isn't going to hoover up the next one.
Yeah. I can't. I actually don't have the context of Klarna, so I can't comment on that one. Yeah.
So if I was, okay, let's say there are numerous examples I'm sure you could come up with right now where companies have said, we don't need X number of staff right now because the technology's improved and therefore we'll have a computer do the job rather than a person, down from supermarkets to banks. So the person who's been made redundant because technology can do their job, what should be the next step for them?
So I think there's a lot of in that case, I think it's probably to look at what the opportunities are here. I think if I point to for example, a lot of people who weren't capable of programming before are now capable of it because models help close the gap. Also, people who weren't creators of content, they are now able to do it because of these models. So I think the best option there is probably to take a step back, look at which of those matches with their skills, and then kind of move towards that. And I think in aid of that, that's why we make this technology available to everyone, so that everyone can use it to work up from that level.
Which jobs are you not going to impact?
I don't think I can conclusively comment on that. I think if we look at how the technology has evolved, it started off as purely text. Now there's lots of other areas that it's moving into. I don't think I don't conclusively know which areas where it's going to be limited to.
The other way we could say that then, there's no industry that is out of the bounds of ChatGPT.
The way I would maybe comment on that is if we look at the internet, for example, when that came out, there was a huge amount of hype. Now it's injected in every part of our lives. I would see AI as being very similar. When it came out, I think there's a lot of hype, justifiably a lot of fear as well. But I think what we're now seeing is coming back to those figures I mentioned, where we're still seeing an increase in users. More and more people are adopting it. It has become a part of everyday life. So I think it is reasonable to expect that it's going to be part of everyone's lives. And I think that will bring opportunities as well as some challenges.
Colin Jarvis, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.